So, today we're going to talk about death. But more importantly, we're going to talk about what is the fan base's obsession with death in One Piece. Now, if you've been a part of the One Piece community for any real length of time, you know that death in One Piece, it doesn't really occur that often. However, it does occur, and when it does occur, it's usually a big deal. Now, Oda's writing style usually has death occur in some sort of tragic backstory, the typical anime tropes. Death in real time is not what Oda seems to resort to. But that hasn't stopped the fan base from wanting and literally obsessing over somebody dying in this story. And established characters too. I'm not just talking about side characters like Pound. I've seen theories of Vivi dying, Law dying, Jinbei might not make it back from Whole Cake Island, Kinemon. This fan base has a real obsession with main characters dying in order to progress the story. I'm not really sure how to feel about that being a part of this community, and it definitely raises the question, are we as a One Piece community, are we bloodlusted? Wait, no! So when talking about death in One Piece, the discussion is usually split into two halves. One half with the idea that, narratively speaking, death will make One Piece a better story. If these main characters face death, that means that the stakes are raised that much higher, thus making their triumph even greater. And I would be lying if I sat here and told you that the logic behind it definitely makes sense, right? The bigger the mountain you have to climb, the greater the achievement is once you get to the top. Let's take Attack on Titan, for example, an anime that will definitely go down as one of the greatest animes of all time in most people's opinion. This same title had their main character die by episode 5, and that's exactly what Attack on Titan is. It's a series of high octane, high stakes, and it has the theme of death hovering over every character's head for the whole series. Now, I don't think anybody is suggesting or asking that One Piece get to an Attack on Titan level of death. However, maybe that death be a little bit more of a common occurrence throughout the One Piece story. But why is it that death seems to be so uncommon in One Piece? Well, throughout the years, Oda has given a bunch of different reasons for this. We all know the story of him promising to his grandmother that he won't kill characters or even write the words kill or death. He's also stated in different SBSs that he wants characters to only die if it really means something. He doesn't want, the readers to not feel satisfied by the end of the arc. The best example of that would be Ace and Whitebeard. When Ace and Whitebeard died, obviously, the fan base was pretty much turned upside down. Ace and Whitebeard's death means almost everything to the fan base. We're still talking about it today, and of course, Marineford will be hailed as possibly the best arc in One Piece. But if you flip that and you apply it to One Piece, where there's important characters dying all the time, well, Ace and Whitebeard's death, it becomes a little bit less meaningful. I'm sure people would still care about it, but if Law had died and Usopp was getting ready to die, then all of a sudden you start to think that Ace and Whitebeard's death, it becomes a little bit less meaningful, right? Still meaningful, sure, but not as much as Usopp's death. Narratively speaking, I think Oda responded the best. When asked about death, he said, in his era, his meaning Luffy, men live by their beliefs and risk their lives to defend them. Luffy shatters the beliefs of his enemies by defeating them. For them to suffer defeat, to have their beliefs destroyed is as bad as death. And I would definitely agree with that when it comes to One Piece. In One Piece, dreams are everything. A pirate's dreams never dies. lives is what's mostly quoted by Blackbeard. But having your dreams destroyed essentially destroys the will of the character. There's an entire subsection of powers dedicated to overpowering the will of your enemies in One Piece. So will is huge, but if you destroy your opponent's will, you've essentially killed them anyways. And before you say that that's trash, you have to ask yourself why the characters physically dying makes for a better story anyway. A lot of the fan base brings up the will of P, right? Pell, he flew into the sky with a bomb and he's alive. And Pound got his head cut off by an oven and he's alive. And I get it. Oda definitely brings it on himself by teasing death so much. But in retrospect, if he actually had killed those characters, would we even care about Pell and Pound if they had died at this point? Some people say yes, but look at Pedro. I mean, Pedro sacrificed himself in the last arc. I don't think anybody's really talking about him now. He doesn't really generate too much discussion within the fan base. Definitely not to a Whitebeard or an Ace level. And of course, Pedro was killed in real time, and they still talk about him in the story now. You know, we've had a whole character arc of Carrot leading up to her fight with Pero Sparrow in Wano, and it was over the death of Pedro. It was over Pedro's sacrifice. Nobody's talking about it. You know what I mean? Nobody cares that Carrot just had her little scuffle with Pero Sparrow over Pedro. Like, nobody cares about Pedro. And that's my point, is that you can't just keep asking for these characters to die only for us to forget about them a couple of arcs later. Like, I don't really understand what the obsession is with characters dying. It's coming off more like the fan base just wants what they can't have. If Oda doesn't want to kill characters, then the fan base has completely zeroed in on Oda killing off characters. And it seems to have gotten to a point in the fan base where death is the only answer to making the story of One Piece better. Like, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. I've seen One Piece content creators across all of the internet, and when it comes to the topic of One Piece being a great manga, a great anime, possibly the greatest of all time, but the one thing that could make it better is, and it'll lead to an entire subset of the fan base leaving a post on Reddit, leaving comments in the comment section or on Discord saying, ooh, me, I know the answer. The answer is death. And I just find it a little bit ridiculous that death seems to be the answer to making this already great story even better. I don't think anybody would disagree that Dragon Ball is one of the most, possibly the most popular anime of all time. And it was a story in which death didn't even really matter in Dragon Ball. Characters die in Dragon Ball all the time. So we weren't really worried about, oh, is this character gonna die? They'll just get brought back with the Dragon Balls a couple of episodes, a couple of chapters later. It's not really a big deal. I mean, Goku got killed by Raditz and came right back to fight Nappa and Vegeta. Krillin got killed by Frieza, comes right back in the next arc. It got to a point in Dragon Ball where Goku was literally getting like a day pass even though he was dead. Yeah, you get a day pass, go to Earth, compete in the tournament, but make sure to come right back. Remember, you're dead. Like, death in Dragon Ball didn't matter, but we still watched it because it was still a good story, still great action, and death doesn't really make the story better. I kind of look at Oda's writing style like a quirky 1920s silent film, you know, where I don't know if you've ever seen the trope where it's, say, like an old Western and there's a damsel in distress on the train tracks and the train is coming, and then right before the train hits, a card will come up where it's like, will our hero reach there in time? It's almost like that. Oda teases death, of course. There's no getting around that, and he's not helping himself. However, the characters don't actually have to die. It's more so about the mental strain of the character to overcome this situation. Take Sanji's backstory, for instance. Now, in Sanji's backstory, it's a tragic backstory, just like everybody else in One Piece. However, Sanji's mom died very early on in his backstory. Does it play a big part in his life? I'm sure it does, but in terms of the backstory, it was actually actually really small. Oda definitely painted the backstory in a way in which, yes, his mom died, but we're more so focused on why his family and especially his father treated him so bad. And we're definitely focused on why or how he'll be able to overcome these circumstances that when he finally did, when they were finally able to make it over the red line and Sanji was able to get to freedom, that right there invoked more emotion from us as a fan base, from the reader, rather than Sanji's mom dying. Yes, of course, Sanji's mom dying is important. I would not dispute that. However, for us, the fact that Sanji actually got away from that situation was a bigger deal. I say all this to say, look, I get it. One Piece definitely doesn't kill characters that often. And if that's your opinion, I'm not gonna argue with you about it. I completely respect everybody's opinions. However, me personally, I don't think that death would necessarily make One Piece better in any way. It just makes it different. And One Piece is all about dreams anyways, so it would seem like it's a bigger deal to kill off somebody's dreams rather than their physical body. One Piece is all about will, and wills can be inherited. So at this point, it really doesn't even matter if a character physically dies, if their will can just be inherited by another character. So in One Piece, dreams and the will of others is a little bit more important, and that's what One Piece is predicated on. It's predicated on the dream of being the freest person in the world, and Sanji will find the All Blue, and Zoro will be the strongest swordsman, Luffy will be the pirate king, and at if any point those dreams are threatened, then that's when the stakes are at their highest. If you made it to the video this far, I just want to give a big thanks to you guys. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me, what do you think about death in One Piece? I see people talking about it everywhere, and I just want to be a part of that discussion. So make sure you tell me your thoughts below in the comment section. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell for future notifications. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will catch you guys